Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. The Rock returned at WWE Bad Blood after Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes defeated Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, once again indicating the future of the company is set for a few big twists with the final boss. Now, it appears that Sikoa has accidentally given away a huge spoiler. After Roman Reigns stepped away following WrestleMania 40, Solo Sikoa launched a coup, kicking out Jimmy Uso and eventually Paul Heyman to take over the bloodline. He's since brought in Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jacob Fatu, changing the group completely. Since returning, Roman Reigns has been after Sikoa, and at Bad Blood, he teamed with his rival Cody Rhodes to face Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in a match to settle things. Reigns and Rhodes won, but suddenly, the final boss returned after the show. There have been rumors that he's not the actual mastermind behind Sikoa's betrayal. Sikoa accidentally gave away a major spoiler at Bad Blood, which almost certainly confirmed this narrative. Speaking to fans while he was standing among the crowd when The Rock was entering, he said that it was all a part of the plan. He was not surprised by the final boss returning at all, clearly showing that he was in the know. While he said what he said, it may have accidentally given away more than he wanted, with it now becoming clearer that there's another alliance within the bloodline. While not officially confirmed, it seems that Sikoa and The Rock are working together, and the spoiler may be that the Brahma Bull is the one behind Sikoa's betrayal of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns vs. The Rock may be the future in WWE as of now. The next step for Roman Reigns is murky in WWE. While he has defeated Solo Sikoa, the bloodline does not seem to be done with him. On top of that, if The Rock is indeed the one who instigated the coup against him, then the next step may be the final boss getting himself involved in proceedings on the blue brand. The next few months should clear up exactly what sort of matches could shape up at WrestleMania 41. Solo Sikoa had always been a man of few words, his stone-faced demeanor often lending an air of mystery around him. It was this very stoicism that made the bloodline enforcers so unpredictable. But even the most guarded individuals can slip up, and Solo, known for his fierce loyalty to Roman Reigns, found himself at the center of an unexpected storm after an accidental spoiler shipped the WWE Universe to its core. The Rock's sudden return to WWE had sent shockwaves throughout the wrestling world. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had been away from the squared circle for years, focusing on his Hollywood career. But with Roman Reigns solidifying his status as the undisputed tribal chief and dominating the WWE landscape, fans had long clamored for a showdown between the two Samoan powerhouses. When The Rock finally made his return on SmackDown, the internet exploded with theories and rumors about the future of the bloodline, and Solo Sikoa inadvertently added fuel to the fire. It all began innocuously enough during a backstage interview. Solo was known for being tight-lipped, often leaving the talking to his special counsel, Paul Heyman, or the tribal chief himself. But after The Rock's dramatic return to WWE television, a rare interview request for Solo was granted, much to the surprise of fans and reporters alike. The interviewer, sensing the opportunity to get some insight into the chaotic state of the bloodline, pushed Solo for answers. "What do you make of The Rock's return?" the interviewer asked cautiously, unsure if Solo would even respond. "Does this change the dynamic within the bloodline?" Solo stared for a long moment, his silence hanging in the air. The interviewer shifted nervously, unsure if he had crossed the line, but then, in a rare display, Solo spoke. "Bloodline business is family business," he muttered, his deep voice barely above a growl. "But family ain't always blood." The words, though cryptic, sent the internet into overdrive. Fans and analysts dissected every syllable, speculating whether this was a veiled warning about tensions between Roman and The Rock or perhaps a sign that Solo himself was beginning to question his allegiance to the tribal chief. The real shocker, however, came later in the same interview when the interviewer asked about Solo's future with Roman Reigns. "Roman's been the tribal chief for a long time," the interviewer prodded. "Do you see yourself sticking by his side through all of this? Even with The Rock back in the picture?" Solo's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, it seemed like he was about to shut down the conversation entirely. But then, in a moment of what many later called an unintentional slip, Solo revealed far more than he likely intended. "Things are gonna change," he said slowly, as if contemplating the weight of his words. "You can't be at the top forever. Not even Roman." The statement was enough to send shockwaves through the WWE universe. Solo Sikoa, the man who had been the most loyal to Roman Reigns, had just hinted at the possibility of a major shift within the bloodline. Fans were quick to speculate, was Solo foreshadowing Roman's eventual downfall? Was he signaling his own departure from the bloodline? Or was he merely acknowledging the inevitable rise of The Rock as a serious threat to Roman's dominance? The timing of Solo's slip couldn't have been worse or better, depending on one's perspective. The Rock's return had already stirred up a whirlwind of excitement, and Solo's unintentional spoiler only added to the anticipation. Could this be the end of Roman Reigns' reign as tribal chief? And if so, what role would Solo play in the unfolding drama? As the days passed, WWE fans eagerly awaited any further developments. Meanwhile, backstage in WWE, rumors began circulating about Solo's future. Paul Heyman, ever the master manipulator, was reportedly trying to keep the bloodline intact, but tensions were said to be at an all-time high. Roman, whose paranoia had been growing since Jey Uso's departure, now had to worry about The Rock's looming presence and the possibility that his most trusted enforcer might be having second thoughts. The next week on SmackDown, Roman Reigns addressed the WWE Universe, his face a mask of controlled fury. Flanked by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa, he addressed the elephant in the room. "I've heard the whispers," Roman said, his voice cold and deliberate. "I've seen the rumors. Everyone wants to know what's going on with the bloodline. They think The Rock can just walk back in here and disrupt what I've built. But let me make one thing clear, nobody takes this from me. Not The Rock, not anyone." The crowd was electric, hanging on to Roman's every word. But as he spoke, Solo stood silently behind him, his face betraying nothing. Yet, to the keen observer, there was something different about Solo's posture, a slight shift, a tension in his shoulders that hadn't been there before. Roman, sensing the unease, turned to his enforcer. "Solo, you've been my right hand. You've stood by me when others couldn't. Your blood, and that means something. So, I want you to tell these people, tell the world, where your loyalty lies." The arena fell silent as Solo stepped forward, his eyes locked on Roman. For a brief moment, it seemed like everything hung in the balance. Would Solo reaffirm his loyalty to the tribal chief, or would he make a move that would change the course of WWE history? After what felt like an eternity, Solo finally spoke. "Family is everything to me," he said, his voice steady. "But even family needs to know when it's time to step aside." The tension in the arena was palpable. Roman stared at Solo, his expression unreadable. It was a subtle declaration, one that didn't outright challenge Roman's authority but suggested that Solo was no longer willing to blindly follow orders. As SmackDown went off the air, the WWE Universe was left with more questions than answers. What did Solo's words mean for the future of the bloodline? Was Roman's reign as tribal chief truly in jeopardy? And how would The Rock's return play into the unfolding drama? One thing was certain, Solo Sikoa had just set the stage for one of the most explosive chapters in the history of the bloodline, and the WWE Universe was eagerly waiting to see how it would all unfold.